As a preface, some of you know, and some of you may not know, that I had a goal of hiking the Pacific Crest Trail from Mexico clear into Canada. It didn't happen. I got 750 miles, 50 miles into the high Sierra Mountains. The snowpack was 202% of average. The rivers were going to be raging. They said it was going to be another couple months before the mountains would be safe to go through. So I came home. But 750 miles is a long ways to go. I've heard of people that have gone 200 miles, and I think, what's that? 750 miles seemed unbelievable to me, and now it doesn't seem that big a deal. There's a new trail that Canada has just opened up that goes across Canada 15,000 miles. Now that's a big trail. It was Easter morning. I had probably come up to a couple hundred miles and decided it's time to start putting some miles on. Let's get going, see what I can do. I got up at 4:30 in the morning, hit the trail. See, I don't have a routine. I get up different times every day. This day was 4:30, so I had to put on my coat and my other coat, put on a hat, put on my other hat, put on the things clear up to here. It was cold, 4:30 in the morning. I loved it. The sun was just coming up over the mountains. It's a beautiful time to hike, and I'm up in the high mountain range, and it's kind of deserty, so there's no big trees, so you can really see the sun. I enjoyed hiking along there, and then you start taking off the coat. Then you start taking off the other coat. Then you take off the hat, leave on the sun hat until it's hot. It was a hot day. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I had come 23 miles. I come up to the water cache. Water is very, very short supply in the desert. There's no creeks like there is in Oregon here where you can just stop and fill up your canteen. They have a little structure, and they have shelves, and some lady is kind enough to bring gallons of water, and she has them all over the shelf there. And when you get to the water cache, you always drop your pack and load up on water and start drinking. I hate to drink too much on the trail because I might run out. Don't know where the next water cache is going to be. 2 o'clock, I stopped, hadn't taken off my pack yet. I looked at the water cache, and there was a note. Mary is providing Easter dinner for Pacific Crest Trail hikers until the food is gone. Starting at 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock. I've come 23 miles. I'm exhausted, and I know what Pacific Crest Trail hikers can eat. And it's 2 miles to Mary's place. 2 miles. I've gone 23 miles already. It's 2 miles. It's already 2 o'clock. Is there going to be any food left? Food? I'm going to chance it. Anytime somebody will make you food, you go for it. There's great gratitude in food. And so I didn't drop my pack. I was exhausted, but I pushed on. 2 more miles, and it was not an easy trail. There were washouts that you had to go down and then up. It was dusty, and it was hot. And I just kept trudging along, and I was exhausted. By the time I got to the little intersection, and there was a little sign, Mary's Place, Easter dinner. Mary's Place is an interesting place. She lives down in the valley, and she owns this whole hill. And Mary drives her pickup truck with her camper on it up a very rough back road, and she has built an outhouse up there. She's built a mini library. All the literature authors, she has their cutouts all across there. And she loves literature and poetry, and she's got little poetry around. She's put a covered area where hikers can come in and sit. She's even put an outdoor shower out behind the outhouse. If you want to go, and there's bags of water that you can take a shower. Mary drove her truck up and was going to provide dinner for the Pacific Crest Trail hikers for Easter Sunday. And when I came in, I was exhausted. I crouched over, and there she has a jug of water with a bar of soap. You can wash your hands, but I didn't wash my hands. I was too exhausted. I just went over and took my pack off and stuck my trekking poles in the ground, and I walked down to where there was a couple hikers at the picnic table. They said, Mary doesn't have dinner ready yet. She's still making it. But there on the table was an orange. They said, you can have that if you want. I took that orange in my hand. And I almost had an emotional breakdown when I touched that orange, even just thinking about it today. When I took and peeled that, and that mist of the rind came up into my nose, and I pulled out a section of orange and put it in my mouth, and those little subsections burst. The juices in my mouth was the most flavorful thing I have ever tasted in my life. And as it ran down my dry throat and it hit my stomach, I knew I was going to be okay. I would walk another 500 miles for an orange like that. A few days later, we were blessed because the day before, most of us were exhausted. It was steep, up, up, up. I can't take this anymore. I was just about done for. And then the next day, it was downhill all the way. I love downhills because I like to go fast, and I like to really go. And I'm going down fast, boom, boom, boom. And that's exhausting, though. After I was at 18 miles, I think it was, and I was getting tired, but it was downhill. And out of the corner of my eye on a rock, I saw a little cardboard, and it said, Trail Magic below. And I looked up, and down over there was a dirt road, and I saw a covered canopy down there. There were chairs, there were a few hikers, and there was a car. So I continued on down and came out, dropped my pack, and they welcomed me. They had chairs. Chairs. They had fresh strawberries, cantaloupe cut up, chips. That was salty. Fritos. And cold, cold iced drinks. They had driven for 2 hours from Orange County up this back road to feed us hikers that were coming through. Their daughter had hiked the year before. She had refused any help from them. She budgeted it, she planned it, and everything. And they were so worried about her, and they were full of gratitude because some trail angels had come and helped their daughter. And they said, we want to pay back by coming up and helping some of you. So they gave us the food. We sat down, and they said, now tell us, what's it like on the trail? What's life like on the trail? It was quiet, and then somebody says, well, actually, it's pretty brutal out here. It's pretty tough. And so I told the orange story. And when I was done, it was quiet. And then one man timidly says, I can relate to that. And then another man quietly said, me too. I had told him that when I took that orange in my hand, I almost had an emotional breakdown. I thought I was going to break down. And that's when he said, me too. The other hikers said they could relate to that. You know, there's people all around you. You have no idea what they're going through. They didn't know that I had come 25 miles. But that perked me up. That little orange perked me up enough. I went another 4 miles after dinner. So I made a 29-mile day. But in your daily life, you don't know what people are going through around you. But to you, what is an orange? To me, I almost had an emotional breakdown because of the orange. To you, an orange is nothing. Here, there's an orange. What's a smile to you? It's nothing. It doesn't take much to smile to somebody. It may change their life. May give them almost an emotional breakdown. You don't know what they're going through. So I hope you remember this story. This is a lesson that I learned, and I want to smile. I want to help people. What's a sandwich to somebody on the street? It might be what he needs at that moment. So I encourage you, today, tomorrow, give somebody an orange.